Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you are new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds in 3 years. If you'd like to join the family, hit that subscribe button down below. Also, click on that bell icon so you'll get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to join in or participate in on the discussion, you can join me on my live streams, which I do most weekdays. Or outside of the live stream, you can consider joining the Discord I've created. There's a link for that down in the description below. It's a great place for you guys to share your experiences and things outside of this live stream. Also, we get asked a lot of times what kind of foods that we eat or that we are making to help our diet. And so we created a Pinterest board. There's a link for that down in the description. And that has a lot of our family's favorite whole food, plant-based meals. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. Or if you have any on-scale victories you'd like to share, I'd love to hear those as well. If you're getting started on your diet, I'd love to hear what your goal is and what your plans are. If you are struggling, maybe let us know what's going on. Maybe we can help you out. And for everybody, what are things that you are doing to make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? Pretty Girl's mom's checking in saying, hey there. Hey, Pretty Girl's mom. I hope you're having a great day. Let me switch. There we go to the main here. So I hope everybody had a great evening. It was a decently busy day for me here. Lots of things going on at work. Hold on a second. I didn't realize I missed some phone calls here. It doesn't really matter though. Shy saying, hey, Anthony's checking in saying, hello guys. I hope you're all having a great day. Pretty busy today, but overall not awful. I'm trying to get on here and see if I took any photos of the food from yesterday. And I did not. So yesterday was a goofy day because I did my live stream really late in the evening. It was at like 7:30 my time. So it was like 3.5 hours late that I did my live stream. So I did not get home until 3.5 hours later than I normally do. And last night just had some leftovers. It was, there is a mushroom and white bean polenta meal that we've been making that we had some leftovers of that I heated that up last night and had it for my late dinner. It was very heavy on the polenta, not so much with the white beans and the mushrooms, but overall it was a good dinner, filled up my stomach. Then this morning we still had not gone to the store to get ingredients for our regular oatmeal. So this morning we had the sweet oatmeal that we used to have, which is apples and bananas with oat groats. A lot of times, or most of the time, when we were having it regularly, we would put almond butter in it because we would keep almond butter on hand. But once we quit having that more regularly, we quit having the almond butter in our cupboard. So then the last couple times that we've had our sweeter oatmeal, we've put our peanut butter in it, which is just the Crazy Richard's peanut butter from Walmart. But we were out of that today. And so I had it with no peanut butter, and I think it's pretty good without the peanut butter. I think that we use apple juice to help sweeten it, and that makes a huge difference. Rick's checking in saying, hey all. Hey Rick, I hope you had a great day. But I liked it kind of just as much as with the peanut butter. So I am going to probably try to avoid adding that to it. If it's good without it, then there's no need to add the extra high calorie dense peanut butter to the meal. But I think Carrie had picked up some groceries today, or that was the plan, to pick up the groceries today. So we should be going back to our regular oatmeal tomorrow. Linda's saying, nice to see everyone. Nice to see you too here, Linda. I hope you're having a great day. A couple things. I don't know if I'm going to go live tomorrow. I was not planning on camping all weekend at the beginning of this week, but my son is doing an event for Boy Scouts, or they're doing a camp out that's about an hour away from where we live, and they were needing another parent volunteer to go to the camp out, and I somehow got roped into it. No, it was something where I was going to go just on Saturday night because that was the only night that they needed somebody. And then I was messaging with them today, and I think I'm going to go tomorrow, just because if I wait till Saturday, I'm going to kind of miss anything that they're doing that seemed fun. And then, and I got to make the trip anyways, so if I go Friday, at least I'm going to be out there longer, and I'm sure my son will appreciate hanging out a little bit longer as well. So I don't know if I'll be live tomorrow because of the camping trip. So today might be the last day I'm live this week. Been getting lots of great comments from people. I really appreciate the comments from everybody and the suggestions. I haven't really talked about it much here. It kind of got spread out over like the last month and a half, but I was reading a book, and it was the Neil Barnard's Your Body in Balance. And I started it before we left for that trip in the end of July. And I finished it sometime, at least a week ago. It might have even been 2 weeks ago that I finally finished it. But I don't know if I did like a final review of it on here. I know I talked about it a couple times. But I did really enjoy the book. It was Your Body in Balance, I believe is what it was called, by Dr. Neil Barnard. Like I said, Your Body in Balance. The book seemed to me to maybe be a little bit more geared towards a female audience, which is fine. I think that most diet books are probably geared more towards a female audience. Great information in the book about hormones and about the effects of dairy on our bodies. Lots of really good testimonials in the book as well. He does go on at the end of the book for a little bit about BPAs, which I didn't expect or didn't realize. I think that it was that book that he goes into BPAs kind of, and that is the stuff that they use to like line cans and use in different other containers, that there's a concern about the BPAs leaching into the liquid, like into the soda or the water that's in there. I think he might even talk a little bit about the water bottles, like having water in plastic bottles and it getting heated up and things like that. So that was a bit at the end of the book. that I wasn't really expecting him to go in, but I think the chapter title, I was just looking at it, it's called Avoiding Environmental Chemicals. And so I believe that's where he talks about the, those things with the leaching of plastics or chemicals into food. The overall message of the book, I'm a big fan of, eat more plants, eat less animal products. The tough thing with a lot of these books, I feel like, is that they are maybe a little less strict about things than I'm finding that I need to be or want to be or should be. I don't know what everybody's progression. Everybody's got a different story or a different path to getting to their healthy weight and doing it with a whole food plant-based diet. But I feel like there would almost be like there's a different levels that each of these doctors ask you to change your diet while still saying that it's health promoting. And a lot of there may be, so there's some doctors that just say eat whole food plant-based, don't worry about salt, oil, sugar. And then there's some doctors that say eat whole food plant-based, don't worry about salt and sugar, but get rid of the oil. And then there's doctors that say get rid of the sugar and the oil, or get rid of the salt and the oil. And then there's the Pleasure Trap, the Alan Goldhamer, the Dr. Lisle, the Chef AJ, the whole food plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free, get rid of all of it. And not a lot of the doctors are recommending getting rid of all of it, getting rid of the SOS free, or getting rid of the salt, oil, sugar. Like I said, Chef AJ's recommending you get rid of salt, oil, sugar. Dr. Lisle, Dr. Goldhamer, they're all recommending get rid of salt, oil, sugar. Dr. McDougall, I know he talks about getting rid of the oil and I think reducing sugar, but he's not necessarily, I don't know. But like the book, the diet that this book is outlining, if I looked through the recipes, which I didn't, there's going to be salt and there's going to be more sugary items in the recipes, I imagine, in this book, because its big thing is going whole food plant-based, getting rid of the animal products. And it's more of, I guess, like an intro to this way of eating. And it may be stricter than other books that, I'm just kind of talking off the cuff a bit. But the point I'm trying to get at is that, Linda says here that the Giroudi family recipes are also SOS free. Like, I like the recommendations. I like the book. I like the information, but the diet isn't, I need to be more strict than the diet that they recommend in that book. I have to be eating a salt, oil, sugar-free diet if I'm going to lose weight. It's what I've proven to myself over the past 18 months, 20 months, is that if I'm going to succeed without going to the gym for hours on end, or without restricting my volume of food, that I have to be salt, oil, sugar free. And so yeah, So it's up to where I like the book. It didn't motivate me to get back to salt, oil, sugar free, I guess maybe is what I'm trying to say. I mean, I'm there now, but it's, it wasn't that book that said, get back into it, you know, and I don't know if I should go back and listen to The Pleasure Trap again. I've listened to it, gosh, 3 or 4 times in the past year. So I know the book pretty good. But for me, that's really the diet standard that I have to hold myself to if I want to see success. And it's tough to keep yourself motivated to stick to that diet too, because it's easy to fall for the pleasure trap, I guess is what it comes down to. It's easy to convince yourself that you can have that meal or you can have that just one more time and that'll be the last time. And then inevitably it isn't, because you just keep failing to those temptations. So I kind of got going on a totally different rant there at the end of my book review. Like the book, definitely say it's geared towards women. I'm sure that guys could get something from it, but the parts about the male hormonal system is not near as in depth as the stuff about the female hormone system. So take that, do with that information what you will. Let's see. Linda said the camping trip sounds awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't really had much experience with canoeing. It actually got me thinking about the only experience I do have with canoeing is when I was in high school. I went on a canoeing trip for a few days with my with a group of people from my high school that the science teachers had set up for us to go on this camping trip. And now that I'm thinking back on it 20 years later, I'm laughing in my head about how there was, gosh, it was like 7 or 8 kids and 2 adults. Maybe it was 6 kids and 2 adults per group, but there was a limit for people we could have with us. Anyways, we just went out there. Like they said, pack clothes for a week and we're going to go on this camping trip that you're going to do this canoeing. And I hadn't really ever done any canoeing. Maybe some of the other guys had more experience with it, but we just kind of went at it and got it done. And so it makes me laugh to think how I did that with like zero fear or apprehension or anything, and it's tough to remember 23 years ago, 23 years at least it would have been. That's crazy. But now I think about getting a canoe and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to capsize it or I'm going to flip it or I'm going to embarrass myself. But yeah, it should be a fun trip this weekend, as long as it doesn't rain. It's supposed to rain a lot on Saturday. So we're hoping to find like a window that we're able to do the canoeing where it's nice enough out that we can. So what other things? I talked about food, talked about the book. Swelling in my leg has done a lot better. It's still a little bit of swelling. It's kind of got this weird hump, I guess, because it's like the swelling's gone down above it and below it, but then there's like this mass that it's swelled up. And but it's going in the right direction. I feel like getting my diet back into the right place is helping it a ton. This weekend with the trip, I'm going to be traveling. My hope is to going in have plenty of food available. even, the whole thing's goofy because as long as the food is, or anyway, I'm not worried about, because most of the other food there is not going to be something that's going to be tempting to me. And I'll just have to take lots of potatoes, get a whole duffel bag full of potatoes, just to have them. And then maybe do some running around tomorrow and shopping. I got a bunch of other stuff to do at the same time, so it's tough to give myself motivated to do some of that other stuff. So, anyways, swelling on my leg, much better. Very happy with it. Scale, got on it again today. Going in the right direction. Carrie says all food will be vegan at the camp out. Yes, I know. That's why I was kind of changing what I was saying, because it'll be food that I could. Right. I don't know. I'm not going to eat it if it's not salt, oil, sugar free. That's what it comes down to. That's the line in the sand I have to start drawing, or I've been drawing, is that I have to be salt, oil, sugar free, because it just doesn't work any other way. Unfortunately, or maybe not unfortunately, just a wild, it's so easy to go off track. I was just talking to a buddy of mine that he was freaking out a little bit because he had to have surgery, and it was kind of a decently invasive surgery that he had to have done. And he was frustrated because he had gained 15 or so pounds back. And, and it's hard, but it's that getting back into it. There's many times that or at least I've been on a diet, had success, lost weight, then had something come up, anything come up that threw off my routine, threw off my eating schedule, threw off my diet, threw a wrench in what I was allowed to eat, threw a wrench in what I had available to eat. Infinite number of things can screw up a diet. And, we can all sit here and talk about those infinite number of things that we've had screw up our diets over the years. I think that where the success in any diet is going to be is in the ability to get back on the diet and to stick with it again. I feel like there's many diets I've done in the past that, while I was on the diet, however miserable the food was or the routine was, I powered through it because it was having the results that, I wanted to have on the scale. Many times it was very low calorie foods, very high energy output activity or programs. And you have that success, and you get to a point where you've lost half of what you're looking to lose, or you've lost 50 pounds or 80 pounds, and you're feeling great about things. And that thing that's going to screw up your diet happens, and it's going to happen to every diet for everybody all the time. You might be able to lengthen the spans of time between the issues, or you may be able to get to a point where you have changed your lifestyle. But for many of us that are dieting or that have been dieting for years, you haven't found that lifestyle yet where you can sustain it. And so with many diets in the past, I'd be on diet, I'd be doing great, thing comes up, throws you off routine, and then there's a point where you can get back on routine, get back on diet, get back on the program, and everything kind of evens out. It's just a blip in the whole thing, in the whole weight loss. And that doesn't happen for me very much. It's usually I'm on routine, that thing happens, it causes that blip, and then that blip leads to another one, and then another, and because when you give into that temptation and you have that food, especially on, like I said, the really restrictive diets that I was on as far as volume, when you allow that volume in and the calorie count in, then it gets really tough to convince yourself to go back. And I'm finding with this way of eating that it's easier for me to go back. And for me, I think the reason for that is the volume portion of it. I think for me, I eat a huge volume of food, and with the whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar, I still get to eat a large volume of food. The calorie density might not be the calorie density of what I used to eat, but overall the volume is more important than the content in some ways. Like because if I don't eat a large volume of food, my body's going to keep pushing me to eat until I do. And if the food around me is low calorie, then that's going to help me. It's not going to hurt me as much, I guess. And so I may even try to pick up that book Chef AJ recommended at the beginning of her book, The Secret to Ultimate Weight Loss. It was kind of the book that got her into some of this. It was like volumetrics or something like that. And there's a few other books that talk about volume eating that I really am interested in checking out. And I just don't know any way to reduce the volume cravings, or that it's necessary. I don't know that it's necessary to reduce the volume cravings as long as the calorie density of that food is 200 to 500 calories per pound. But Linda says here, agreed, the food is satiating and it feels good to not be hungry. Yes. And I talked a little bit about this the other day too, and I talked more about it with Carrie maybe than I did on stream, but I think that our brains are pretty crazy machines, and that when we get hungry or we get thirsty, our brain flashes of an image in our head. It doesn't, at least for me, I don't see the word thirsty in my head when I think that I'm thirsty. I think, I need a drink, and then I think of what I'm going to drink to satisfy that thirst. And for a long time on this diet, that drink was water, and it's back to being water. But it was when your body has multiple choices, it's going to go for its favorite choice. And so your body's favorite choice might be soda, or it might be a certain juice, or because that's what I did before I was drinking soda here more recently. When I was working out, I was drinking the cherry juice. And when I got thirsty, I would think, let's go have some cherry juice. I wouldn't think, let's go have water, because cherry juice was on the acceptable menu of drink things at the time. And the same thing happens not just with thirst, but I think with hunger as well, is when you think I'm hungry, you think of the food you want to eat to satisfy that hunger. When you have junk food on your diet, or these processed vegan foods on your menu, then your brain is going to go to those processed vegan foods and those processed high dopamine response foods, because that's what gives your body the best response. We say it a lot to our kids when they say they're hungry. We say, okay, we'll go grab a piece of fruit, grab a banana, grab an apple. Let's go get some broccoli. Let's go get some carrots. And when they turn those things down, then we say, well, you must not be that hungry because you don't want to take anything that we're offering as food. But the problem is that in their head, they're seeing that snack bin that's on the top of the pantry that has the granola bars or has the Lara bars in it. And that's what they are hungry for. That's what, when they say hunger, their brain goes through a mental inventory of the food that they think is in the house. And they say, hey, I want the peanut butter and jelly. I want the Lara bars. I want the cereal with sugars in it. And it goes from the top down, from the what it wants the most to the bottom, so it would be the sugary cereal up top, and it would be the broccoli. Well, my kids kind of like broccoli. It'd be the carrots on bottom, let's say. And they have a line that they don't want to cross when so you go sweet cereal, peanut butter and jelly, Lara bar, apple, and then there's a line that they won't cross, and then there's banana and orange and carrot and broccoli, that they won't go to those things. We do the same. I do the same. Like if I were to think I'm hungry, I would think of, what do I have close to me that I could go to and get, and for the first 18 months, my menu was very limited. It was can of corn, can of pineapple, shredded wheat, maybe. It was, during the day at least. And then when I got home, it was just the food that we had at dinner at home. So, Flying Guy, his wife, and their life says, hey, everyone. I think they meant, speaking of hungry, I am at IKEA now eating their veggie dogs. I wonder how those are. That we were actually trying to find a place for the kids to eat this past week, and there is a restaurant called Portillo's. I think it's a Chicago-based restaurant, that they have a veggie dog that we almost went and got them for our kids, but they were kind of expensive. And Burger King's running their 2 for $10 on their Impossible Burgers. So it's much cheaper to feed our kids Impossible Burgers from Burger King if we're going to buy fast food right now. So Linda says, you found our video of what's in our fridge and noticed how differently you are eating now. No more cherry juice and no nut butter. Yes. And that's been something, this whole project, this whole 3-year challenge has been about finding the right path or pattern, or the best way for me to lose this weight. And so it's something where I did eat a certain way really well up until July or August of 2021, and then I kind of started shaking things up, and it's really been frustrating since then. But one of the things that I have gotten rid of now that I used to eat is that nut butter. I used to have Ezekiel bread with the Crazy Richard's nut butter a lot. But I've gotten rid of that. I've replaced that nut butter probably with like tahinis and some of the sauces that we use in our foods. But that would be the one, I think back of my diet was real simple, and, I have all the videos. If you want to know how I was eating, just go back to, like a day 100 video and see what I was eating back then. But, I want to get back towards that diet that I was eating, but I also have to look at whether or not that diet was sustainable, in some ways, like needing to have maybe a better lunch, versus having just a can of corn, like getting myself set up, bringing leftovers from the day before, or having, something different, or go back to 2 meals a day, and I haven't really been, that's kind of what I've been doing again, but I have, found excuses to eat more now that I'm in this new office and I'm around people. Laquita says your changes sound good. The IKEA solution is so affordable. It is wonderful. Okay. Yeah. I think that, I got to get back to the salt, oil, sugar free, or stick to the salt, oil, sugar free for longer than, a week or 2 weeks at a time, because that's, really been the frustrating thing, is that like, I'll get on it and I'll do good for a couple weeks, and then I'll be feeling great, and then I'll just let it screw up. Again, like I said a little bit ago, the crazy part about this diet is that I have been able to get back on it. And I can't say that about the keto diets I've done in the past. I think you get so burnt out on that food and that way of eating, and then the second you let something else in, the idea of going back seems like torture. And I don't feel that way with this diet. I think, like, when I'm off diet, the idea of going back on diet seems like such a good idea. Like, yes, let's go back to how good I was feeling. But that pleasure trap's crazy thing. Keep sucking you back, and, eventually I'll have this thing kicked, but it's taken longer than I expected, or, lots of different things. But I am going to get out of here today. There's a chance you won't see me again till Monday. So if you don't see me till Monday, you guys will have a great weekend. I don't know about tomorrow. It just depends on timing of everything else. So, but plan on seeing me Monday, for sure. I appreciate all the support from you guys. Thank you. Yes, the $2.99. I got to kind of get back to it, but we'll worry about that. Being under 300 pounds is a big part of this thing. I need to get back under there. I need to be comfortably under 300 pounds. Anyways, thanks everybody for following along. I appreciate your support. It's also what helps keep me going on this. I absolutely want to be able to come on here and say that I'm doing an amazing, perfect job, and then all you guys should do what I'm doing. I can't necessarily say that all the time, but I wish I could. So I'm going to get out of here. If you haven't started your diet yet, get started right now. There's nothing coming up that's more important than your health and your overall well-being. Nobody gets to their goals, looks back, and wishes they would have waited. So get started now. Thank you guys. I will see you on Monday for sure. You all have a good weekend.